2 years ago, I covered a Kingdom Hearts and Devil May Cry inspired hack and slash title called Genokids, and now finally in 2025, Early Access has officially released over on Steam, with Act 1 of the game's campaign available to play through, which is about 1/3 of the full game. This is coming from a very small Spanish indie studio known as Genokids, and when I say small, emphasis on that, this is created by 2 guys. This is a game that I've been keeping a close eye on for many years now, with it beginning development back in 2019, so to see that it's finally hit Early Access on Steam makes me absolutely thrilled. Well, the guys over at Genokids hooked me up with a code to try out the Early Access version to play through Act 1 of the game, which is about close on 3 hours. Well, I had tried out a demo build of the game back in 2023, which showcased the game's combat system, which I walked away from that very impressed. But now that I've had a chance to play through a fraction of the main game with the levels on offer, boss fights, the story, I can confidently say that, god damn, this is one of the most impressive Kingdom Hearts inspired indies I have played, especially with the Devil May Cry DNA at the forefront of the game's combat system. This isn't an action RPG, it is an action hack and slash game. It's your classic action game setup. You've got a ground combo, an aerial launcher attack, down slash, dodge, and guard, with perfect guard being unlocked via an upgrade, the soft and hard lock-on system seen in Kingdom Hearts, enemies having multiple bars of health, and Devil May Cry's style meter increasing as you perform stylish combos without taking damage. We've even got Kingdom Hearts 3's air stepping, which is known as chase. This mechanic allows you to quickly zip towards an enemy so long as you're within range, with no resource required to pull it off. There's also the flow system that uses this blue resource gauge, which increases as you deal damage. It can be used to pull off special attacks accessed by holding R2 to bring up this Kingdom Hearts looking shortcut menu. Speaking of Kingdom Hearts, there's literally a control scheme layout that's called Kingdom, which mirrors the input layout of a KH game. We've even got a burst or devil trigger mode that will enhance all attacks and heal over time for a duration. I noticed that Blue's enhancements here basically turn her into Roxas, where she'll summon blade pillars as she performs her combo akin to Roxas's limit attacks. Aerial dodge from Kingdom Hearts 2. Yes, aerial dodge from Kingdom Hearts 2! Blue's ultimate flow attack is known as the End, which is the attack Sora uses against the Samurai Nobody while using dual stance. Is that Sora's aerial combo finisher? And don't get me started on Act 1's final boss! It is some Kingdom Hearts juice! But we'll get back to that later. Oh yeah, and Kingdom Hearts blocking as well. Suffice to say, ideas and elements from both KH and DMC are present to make this really tasty combination. Enemies have red attack indicators signifying that the attack can be guarded, or blue indicators that are unblockable, which must be dodged, a la Kingdom Hearts 3. At the end of each story chapter, you'll be graded on your performance, and depending on what rank you achieve, you'll be rewarded with a certain amount of Ego, the game's currency. Ego can be obtained by defeating enemies or found scattered throughout levels. Bus stops are Genokids' divinity statues where you can unlock new abilities, enter training mode, or equip costumes. You can unlock new flow attacks specific to each character or abilities shared across all 4. And there's even more Kingdom Hearts essence here, with the survivor abilities basically being once more and second chance. There's also a real-time character switching mechanic. This allows you to switch between the 4 members of the party on the fly at any point with no cost or delay, and during combos and special attacks. Genokids makes unique use of this, as you can perform a flow attack, switch to another character, but the character you switched from will continue to perform the attack. Recovering from attacks is also built into this, as there isn't a recovery mechanic for when you're caught by an attack. Rather, you can switch to another character to break out. It can also be used while blocking. After a successful block, switch to another character to break the enemy's attack. Character switching has been used in a lot of action RPGs and action games, but Genokids uses it in a way that feels fresh. HP is also shared between the 4 characters. Now, the final boss of Act 1 is when everything clicked. When I thought to myself, holy shit, I cannot believe this is made by 2 people, because this feels so good. This fight was actually kind of difficult. I died, I think, 4 times, and I got to the point where I felt as if I was fighting one of the easier Kingdom Hearts 3 data battles. Not just because some of this boss's attack patterns are literally Larxine's attacks, like she's got the lightning pillars, the thunder slam, and even her DM, yes, it appears that bosses have DMs, is very similar to Larxine's. Oh, and her personality, yeah, is very much Larxine.
Really?
but it's how the boss fights flow. They're very methodical like Kingdom Hearts, paying attention and studying attack patterns, knowing when to block and dodge, and knowing what to block and dodge, awaiting an opening to go in for an attack, before eventually the boss's revenge value triggers so that they can break out. It's clear to me that the devs approached the boss design in Genokids with Kingdom Hearts in mind. This was an awesome boss fight though, and I can't wait to see the others they cook up for the rest of the game. If you do end up playing Genokids for yourself, this will be the point of the game where it hits you. This is this like really interesting, really cool mix of DMC and Kingdom Hearts. The game does have 3 difficulty options, easy, normal, and hard, with hard mode disabling health pickups, meaning the only way to heal is to activate your burst mode, as there's no items or potions in the game, and of course enemies deal way more damage. Personally, I experienced my playthrough on normal, but again, even then, the final boss kicked me around about 4 times. Most other encounters though were fairly easy, though there were a few times throughout where I did get pretty low on HP. I have played a little bit of hard, and yes, it is challenging for those that are quite well versed in action games, you know, like Ninja Gaiden, Devil May Cry, or Bayonetta. Trust me, you're gonna feel right at home here. The game doesn't have crazy DMC or Bayonetta input sequences, like spreadsheet upon spreadsheet of a fighting game character's moveset. It's quite simplistic in that sense, but the game does want you to focus on character switching and how you can integrate one character's combo into another. So it's less about crazy combo strings with multiple different input sequences, and more about using the tools at your disposal, much like Kingdom Hearts. Act 1 consists of 7 chapters. The story here is that Genokids, who are a rock band, are performing a concert when the Earth is invaded by aliens and this big grinning moon thing that definitely isn't a meal from near. The band decide to go check it out and discover they can transform their instruments into weapons. Blue gets a sword, red gets fists, yellow gets a hammer, and green gets shooty laser Wi-Fi booster thingy-mabob. Each of the characters have their own distinctive movesets that align with their weapon type. Blue is a typical sword wielder, red can perform agile fist attacks that can be charged with a button hold, yellow is hard hitting but slow, and green is probably the most unique with ranged attacks, where controlling him sort of reminded me a little bit of Mirage Staff or Wisdom Form from KH. While you do get to play as all 4 during the prologue, you are eventually separated as the main 4 antagonists kick your ass.
What? What the fuck? Oh my god.
The story then goes in a direction where you only play as Blue for the first few chapters, where you're searching the city for where your friends ended up. Act 1 only has you finding Red, so you don't get to see the full extent of all 4 characters just yet. What's on offer so far? The story is actually pretty good, though it's a simple premise. The characters are enjoyable, the voice acting is great, the looming mystery of why these aliens are here, I think it's to consume humans, you know, some War of the Worlds type stuff, and the game doesn't take itself too seriously with some lighthearted humor.
Welcome to Earth, fuckers! Got a visa?
I'm about to disalign his face! Shit, you sure mellow out when you're flat on your ass.
It was a joke, bro. Man, you're being a pain in the ass. Hey, did you hear that?
Yeah, right. Change the subject.
I'm serious, dude. Something's coming.
I also really like the art style. It's this comic book cel-shaded with thick black lines aesthetic that reminds me of games like Neo Twoei, Musashi Samurai Legend, or Jet Set Radio. It feels like a game from the PlayStation 2 era, which I know is an overused label, but it's absolutely a good thing. Cutscenes have minimal use of in-engine models and animations, and rather opt for art pieces that I think adds to the vibe the game is going for. It's actually quite interesting to see these 2D art pieces where the world around them is 3D. I guess a little bit like Paper Mario in that sense. I can also understand why the devs chose to present them in this way from a development point of view, as it means they can focus more on developing other aspects of the game rather than putting so much labor into cutscenes. Remember, it's only 2 people bringing this all together. Across the 7 chapters so far, you get to explore ruined city environments. Levels are quite linear, as they generally are in character action games, though there are some secrets to find in each level, like additional costumes or challenge level doors. If you're familiar with DMC or Bayonetta, you'll know what these are about. Defeat X amount of enemies within a time limit, deflect projectiles to defeat enemies, or this cool one where I had to collect a bunch of ego while driving a bumper car. Completing these will give you drive stars, which are used to unlock more powers for the characters. Levels are fun though, as they have you platforming with some parkour mechanics in the mix. Using the chase ability, you can quickly zip to points with a green marker to traverse the environment. You'll eventually reach sections where you're walled in and you'll have to defeat the enemies to progress. Again, much like DMC. My only hope when looking at the levels of this game is that a little bit more variety gets chucked in when looking at the other two acts to come. Overall though, I really enjoyed my time with Genokids. I think that if you like hack and slash action games, or action RPGs, especially Kingdom Hearts, you should most certainly give this a go. Nukefist have a great foundation here, and I can't wait to see the game become finalized. This is genuinely one of the most impressive KH-inspired indies I've played so far. And before people ask, right now the game is currently only available on Steam. When looking at other platforms, it is possible that it might come to Xbox and PlayStation along with Switch. This is something that the devs are looking at, but I think for the time being, while the game is in early access, it'll likely remain on Steam until the game gets its final release. A big thank you to Nukefist for sending me a code. I love what you guys have going on here. Thank you so much for tuning into today's video, guys. Be sure to slippity slap that like button and subscribe if you haven't already. A big shout out to my wonderful patrons and YouTube members. I appreciate your support. I hope you're all having a fantastic day, and we'll talk again real soon.